Hello and welcome. Are you uh, are you creating a strategic plan for your YouTube channel or for your content strategy? Today we're going to dive into strategic planning for your YouTube channel, what it means to create a strategic plan and the 5 key steps to creating a strategic plan that will help you create your content in a way that's going to grow your channel and help you naturally reach more people. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you guys showing up. And if you are new here, please say hello in the chat. Or if you're new in the to our channel and you're catching this on the replay, let us know who you are and let us know what you're doing on your YouTube channel. We really want to know what kind of channels people are running and what kind of content they're creating on their channel. So I'd love to know that. Leave me a comment below and let me know. So, thank you guys so much for joining us. Today, we're going to be talking about strategic planning. For those of you that don't know me, my name is James Pruitt, and I've been working in online content development since 2008 when I started my very first websites. I was doing affiliate marketing, and we were helping people through blogs and writing articles and posting content online. We started doing some podcasting, we did a few videos here and there. And over the years, I've done several websites. I've had over 100 websites, about 25 YouTube channels, blogs, podcasts, and other ways of creating content. We've always strategically planned out what we did. Now I've been all over the place. And one of the things that I'm trying to be upfront with people, I have ADHD, like severely bad ADHD, and I'm all over the place. And I start things and do really well at it for a while, and then I get distracted and I go do other things for a while. And so, I'm kind of all over the place, but I'm trying to learn how to manage that. And I've been learning how to manage that a lot lately. But one of the things that we have always done is we've always been looking strategically at the things that we do and seeing how we can connect with people in a way that's going to uh, whenever we start a new project, looking strategic planning at the things that we're doing and trying to figure out how to get the information out there, try to get out there and really help people the best way we can, and in a way that benefits us, that it benefits the user, and benefits everybody involved. So that's one of the things that we're always looking at. And I see a lot of people though that are just randomly putting content out on YouTube and hoping something works. And living on hope just doesn't get you very far. But if you have a strategic plan in place for every single thing that you're going to do on your YouTube, and the strategy can involve everything, including monetization strategy, including your posting strategies, your promotional strategies, everything needs to be strategically planned. So what makes things strategic? We hear strategic planning all the time, but what does it mean? Well, there's several things that really define whether it's strategy or not. Strategic planning requires just a few things. One, it requires being objective. In other words, it's something that is something you can measure. It's active and it's something that is within your ability to control. It's also something that is uh, adaptable to change. There's a lot of people that weren't very strategic in how they ran their businesses, like, let's say, Blockbuster, let's say Toys R Us, let's say uh, somebody else, Kodak. These were huge companies, but they didn't strategically position themselves and they didn't strategically plan ahead to what was going on. And part of what makes it strategic is the adaptability. We were teaching people how to build blogs and websites back in 2009, 2010. And the strategic approach we teach to building a YouTube channel today is the same basic strategy I was teaching 10 years ago. But it's adaptable because we've adapted the systems and the processes, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, to fit the marketplace, to fit the trends today, to fit the technology today. But the overall strategy, the content strategies that we teach and that I help people with in my coaching program. That's what one of the things we do in our coaching program. We help people plan their content strategy. And one of the things that we do with that is we help people to create better content in a way that they can reach more people, that they can sell more products if that's what you're trying to do. But it's also about understanding what your objectives are. You know, if your objectives are to make an income for your family, then that needs to be in your objectives, and it needs to be something that's in play in the things that you're doing on your YouTube channel. If it's not, hey, that's okay. I know a lot of people that aren't on YouTube to run a business. They're just here to have fun and hang out with friends. But you can still have a strategic plan for how you create that content and for the things that you're doing. And when you know your objectives, if your objective is to hang out with your friends, then there's a lot of things that you'll do differently than if you're trying to earn an income from your business and from your YouTube channel. So understanding your clear objectives and understanding what your channel is about and having it adaptable and having it something that is built in a way that you can change what you're doing. That's one of the great things about strategy. You can change what you're doing. You can change your objectives as you grow, as you go through changes in life. I know a lot of people that started YouTube as a hobby and it turned into their career because they loved it so much and they were able to leverage the relationships that they built with people through YouTube to be able to replace their income. But it didn't happen by accident. It happened, some of it naturally, but it didn't happen by accident. It happened because they were strategic in their approach to YouTube, and then they were adaptable and able to adapt their strategy as their objectives changed. So this is some of the things we're going to talk about. We're talking about the 5 key components of a strategic plan and what you can do to strategically plan your YouTube channel to make it more uh, accessible and help you achieve the objectives you're trying to achieve. So, number one is it has to be objective, and you have to have strategic objectives for your YouTube channel. I see a lot of channels that I talk to all the time that are just randomly putting out content and they don't even know what the purpose of the content is. They're just putting it out there because that's what they felt like making today. And there's no real leverage, there's no real plan, and they don't really build influence and build the ability to influence people's decisions. And then they complain because they didn't have any influence with people or nobody really cared about their content. Well, here's the thing is if your strategic objectives are to build influence, then you're going to create content in a different way than if your strategic objective is to hang out with friends. And so because you're creating content in a different way, it's going to connect with people in a different way. You're going to target your content differently. The way you hang out with people is going to be different. And so and this isn't to be mean against anybody that does it. You can do whatever you want with your YouTube channel. It's your channel. But you need to know what your purpose for being on YouTube is. What is your objectives for your YouTube channel? Now, for me, I think that your objectives should be two-sided. You should have objectives for your viewers, for the people that are watching your channel, and you should have objectives for yourself and for your family so that you understand all the sides of what you're trying to do. What do you want your channel to achieve? What do you want people to have? And this is what's going to help you to define setting those strategic objectives for your viewers is going to help you define your value proposition, what your channel is about. It's going to help you to really be able to connect with people on a different level. And it's going to help you to look at every piece of content and say, does this help us achieve these objectives? And if not, scrap that piece of content. It doesn't go on your channel. Or maybe you're like, you know what, this is content I really, really like doing, but it doesn't achieve the strategic objectives I have for this channel, even if it's maybe the same topic. Some people have asked me why I started this channel, why I moved this show to its own channel. And the reason why is strategic planning. Because strategically, the objectives of this channel are different than the objectives of the other channel. And so because of that, because they have different objectives, they're going to have a different audience. And because they have a different audience, they needed to really be on two separate channels. So that's one of the things. Everything that you're doing on your channel, you need objectives for for the channel as a whole, and you need to have strategic objectives for each piece of content on your channel. And if you're doing things like a show, like we're doing a weekly show here, if you're doing a show that's on your main channel that's mixed in with your other content, you need to look at the strategic objectives for the show and the strategic objectives for your recorded content. And when you're strategically planning all of this together, then you can make a flow. So you'll notice that a lot of times our Monday video flows right into our Friday live stream. And we're recommending people to the Friday live stream at the end of the show. And if you look at my playlist, like right now we're doing our basics on how to build your YouTube channel. We're almost done with that series, and then we're going to start another series on video production, because whenever I started this series, I said I was going to take people from not even having a Google account, which our very first video in the series was on how to create a Google account. And I told people I was going to go from not even having a Google account to having their first video published. So the next series that we're going to put together then is how to plan and produce, how to plan, record, produce, and publish your first video. So that's going to be the next series that we're about to start putting together. So we're going to go into how we plan a video. We're going to go into how we research a video. We're going to do a video on how we record a video. We're going to do a video on how we edit the video. And then we're going to do a video on how we publish our video. And then we're going to do a video on how we promote the video once it's published, because that's also another important part of publishing your content is promotion. I actually, when you're a really small channel, you're under the first 10,000 subscribers, you're going to probably spend more time promoting your content than you do creating content. That's part of why I tell people take it slow when you're small, because when you're small, you've got to do it. But then you might have it in your strategic plan that when we hit these milestones, then we're going to start doing more content and start setting yourself goals and milestones to hit. And once you start achieving those milestones, then you're going to do that. So that's part of understanding your strategic objectives. And then the next one is having goals based on your strategic objectives. So you want to have two types of, before we get into goals though, we have two types of strategic objectives. You have primary objectives. You should have 1 to 3 primary objectives for your channel and for each piece of content. 1, 2, or 3. And it needs to be balanced towards your audience and yourself. So I have strategic objectives to grow this channel. I want to help people understand the mind, the heart, and spirit, and how it affects your YouTube growth. That's one of my strategic objectives for this channel, is to help people have that personal internal transformation so they can be successful as a content creator. Now, my second objective is to provide for my family, is to bring in some income for my family. So we actually have some products that we're going to recommend as an affiliate. We also have some monetization parts of the strategy in our plans, because monetization is a part of what we're going to do here outside of just AdSense. You know, we have things like, if you do want to support the show, you can buy me a coffee. And you can buy me a coffee. That's one of the things. All the money that comes in from buy me a coffee goes right back into helping us produce content. This is how we pay for StreamYard. This is how we pay for TubeBuddy and all those tools that we use to help keep bringing you content. But you also have to have that balance. Then you need 3 or 4 secondary objectives for your channel. So one of your secondary objectives may be getting more subscribers, getting new people to subscribe to your channel. We want to get this channel to 10,000 subscribers within the first 2 years. One of my objectives may be to get more subscribers. So one of my secondary objectives in almost every video we're going to be put out may be try to get more subscribers until we hit that milestone. So then we also might want to get more likes. Give us a thumbs up if you think this is valuable. If you're already getting some value out of this, make sure you give us a thumbs up before you go. Like our channel, share it out with some friends if you think that you know somebody that would like some more information on strategic planning. One of the things that I know is like videos like this one are not going to necessarily do very well initially. But what it is I'm putting a piece of evergreen content that I can refer people back to whenever I start talking about strategy. I can refer people back to this live stream. And this is a live stream I only have to do one time because it's evergreen. It's not going to change. The information we're sharing today is going to be valid in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now. And so as I move forward in my business, as I do other things, anytime I'm talking about strategy, I can send people back to this video so that we can talk about their strategy and so that they can get a foundational understanding of how to do strategic planning for their content. It's something I can recommend from my other channel. And it's also another channel, I see other channels talking about strategy but not really explaining what strategy is. Guess what? If somebody watches my video from another channel, they might start referring traffic to me. That's one of my strategic objectives, is to get other people to recommend my content and to start sending people to this channel. And I think that there's some possibility there because these are areas that other YouTubers aren't talking about. They mention that strategy is important, but who's teaching you what strategy is? This is the only channel I've seen. The reason I'm creating a lot of the content I create is because nobody else created it for me. I'm creating the content I've been looking for and can't find. That should be something that's part of your strategic objectives. So that's one of our strategic objectives with our channels. So you want to have 3 or 4 secondary objectives. And these objectives, you want these strategic objectives for your channel as a whole. But then you also need individual strategic objectives for each individual video that feeds into your primary strategic objectives for your channel. And then you want to start setting goals, and goals need to be based on your strategic objectives and leading you towards that, but they're measurable. We use the SMART goal setting system, and the SMART goals they have to be specific. So they need to be specific to exactly what you want to achieve, what kind of results you want to get back. They need to be measurable. It needs to be something you can track and see if it's working or not. And if so, then you can adjust your strategy if it's not measurable. And we're going to talk about measurability here in just a few minutes. It needs to be attainable. I see so many people that start a YouTube channel and they expect to be at 1,000 subscribers within the first 30 days. Or they want to complain and ask if they should quit because they've been YouTubing for 6 months and they've only got a couple hundred subscribers. Well, that's one, not being very strategic in how you've approached YouTube is probably why you're struggling. So many people I see struggling is if they were to implement some strategy into what they're doing, then they would stop struggling and it would go a lot faster. But some of it's just also about understanding that it takes about a year just to develop the basic skills, and that's if you're consistent. A lot of people tell you for the first year, just create content. Don't even worry about your subscriber numbers. Just create content. Just focus on creating content and promoting your content. Creating content, promoting your content. Don't worry about whether people are watching it. Don't worry about how many people are subscribing to your channel. Just get out there and create. Why? Because that's going to help you to be more attainable. It's going to help you to focus on attainable goals. Are they realistic? That's the third part, or the fourth part of the SMART system. Are they realistic? Are you realistically setting goals that you could attain? I see a lot of people, again, if your goal is to have 100,000 subscribers by the end of your first month, that's not realistic. It's not probably going to happen. Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. I haven't seen anybody grow that fast, but it's possible to grow that fast. All you need is one viral video to blow up your channel. It could be your first video or it could be your 100th video. You only need one. You just never know when that video is going to hit just right that it's going to go viral. This one could be it for me, even though it's only the 3rd or 4th video on this channel. This one could hit so many chords just right that it goes viral. I doubt it, but it could. It also needs to be time sensitive. So you need to set yourself a time to achieve the goals. Now, what a lot of people set goals and they set that time frame, they mistake not achieving their goal within their time frame as a failure. It's not a failure, it's just data on something that didn't work. And it's not a failure as in it's time to give up because we set a time frame and it didn't work out. But instead it should be a time frame to say, okay, we gave ourselves this much time. That didn't work. We need to readjust our strategy or readjust our time frames. Or maybe relook at how realistic that time frame that we set was. So it's not something that you should give up, but you might have to take a step back, or you might have to delay your other plans for a little while you refigure things and continue working on stuff. This is something that's important because if you make it specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time sensitive, that's a smart goal. And it's related to achieving your strategic objectives. Now you're going to have something that is solid and concrete. You should be writing these goals down and placing them somewhere where you can be. My goal is to have this channel at 1,000 subscribers within our first year. Both of the new channels. I'm trying to get 2 channels to 1,000 subscribers within the next year. Is that attainable? Yes. Is it realistic? Yes. If I do it properly. Is it specific? Yes. Is it measurable? Yes. Is it time sensitive? Yes. That gives me 1 year to get 2 channels to 1,000 subscribers. That means both channels monetized in the partner program within a year. Now, I'm going to be monetizing long before that anyway, but that means that I have to have a good strategy to make that happen. And I have to follow through on that strategy. And that's the other part, is following through on your strategy once you have it in place. And that's one of the things that we're, not so great. That's where my ADD kicks in and my ADHD kicks in. And I'm not the best at following through on stuff sometimes. And that's one of the things that gets me in trouble with my wife. But it is what it is. But having these specific goals are going to help you to measure your progress and adjust things. That you can always, should always, even your goals, they say it's maybe it's not written in stone. And even if it was written in a stone can be broken. In other words, your goals are just, milestones that you're trying to hit. They're achievements you're trying to attain, but they shouldn't be so attached to your success or failure as a person based on whether or not you achieve your goals. That's where some people take goal setting too far, is they tend to associate their sense of identity and their sense of success or failure on whether or not they achieve their goals. I set goals for myself all the time. Some of them I achieve, some of them I was starting to set goals for my new YouTube channel for 2021 back in like October, and by the end of 2020 I was already starting to reach some of those goals. So that's one of the things that you want to look at is, are you setting too small goals? One of the things Tony Robbins always says is people aren't lazy, they just have impotent goals. So if you're having a trouble following through, it may not be that you're lazy. May not be that you're a bad person. Your goals just may not be big enough for you. Goals should be something that drive you. They should be something that gives you energy and gives you something to look forward to, and you're striving to achieve those goals. But you also don't want too many goals. This is another thing. And when you're setting goals, you need to set goals based on things you can control. For example, I have goals based on my subscribers and how many subscribers I want, but I know, as small as I am right now, I don't have any influence over whether people are subscribing to my channel or not. I don't have much influence over whether people watch my channel or not because I'm such a small channel. But I do have control over how many videos I put out. I have control over how often I put out content. I have control over the quality of that content. So most of my goals are, I have a goal to get to 100 videos on my other channel by the end of the year. want to get this one to at least 50 videos because we're doing a weekly live stream. So that gives me a little leeway if I don't make my live streams, because most of the content on this channel is going to be live. So if I miss a few weeks, it gives me a little leeway. But if I'm at 50 live streams on this channel by the end of the year, I'll be happy. That means I've achieved what I wanted to. And if I could achieve within 50 live streams, getting to that 1,000 subscribers, then that would be awesome and it would be amazing. It's something I think we can accomplish. This is number 2, by the way. So we're 2 down. We are on our way to making that goal happen. This is actually the 3rd video since we revamped the channel. It's number 2 on the live stream. I'm not counting the shorts that I had on here before, by the way. I'm just counting the videos since we did the revamp. So I have to keep that in mind as we do that. When I'm looking at my content on my other channel, I'm not counting the shorts I've put on that channel either. I kind of don't count shorts as videos, even though they are, as far as your metrics and everything, they are videos on your channel. But when I'm setting my goals, the shorts are just kind of extra. They're not in my count of what I'm counting as videos. So that's just kind of our thing. Then the next thing, once you get past your goals, then number 2 is your planning. So you need to have strategic objectives. You need to have goals based on your strategic objectives. And now you need to be planning what you're going to be doing. I recommend that you be planning your content out 1 to 2 months ahead of time. You don't want to get too far ahead, but you should be planning your content 1 to 2 months ahead. Like I've got the next month's worth of live streams already planned for this channel and my other channel. I already know exactly what I'm doing for the next month on both channels. In fact, the other channel, the videos on that channel, a lot of them are already recorded. I'm just in the middle of editing them, getting the thumbnails made, getting them uploaded. I've already recorded a bunch of the videos, the recorded content for the other channel. This one, again, mostly live stream, but I've already planned out the next few live streams. For example, next week, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics and the one that scares me the most, which is, one of the things I've been going through this 7-day challenge with Sean Cannell over on Think Media on their Facebook page. And one of the things that he said is somebody asked him in one of the chats, they said, what should be the next piece of content we put out on our channel? And his answer kind of took me by surprise, but he said, the one you're most afraid to make. And I said, wow, that's kind of cool. So I actually went back and changed my plan a little bit, because my next week's content is one that I'm most afraid to make, because I'm afraid it's going to build my reputation in this. It's going to touch a lot of people, or it's going to completely destroy my reputation and trash everything I'm planning to do here. One of the two. It's either going to be crazy good or crazy bad. And I think it depends on how I approach it, because we're going to be talking about some of my spiritual practices and how I use them to come up with content ideas and to create content on my channel. And through that, I'm going to also explain this whole channel. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week. But you want to have a plan. So you need to be doing 1 to 2 months at a time. And like I said, we're batching out content. I think you should batch record whenever possible, batch produce content, batch make your thumbnails, do them in batches. And you want to get ahead of yourself. You want to have at least 5 to 10 videos at a minimum. And I'm trying to get mine up to about 15 to 20, but 5 to 10 videos at least in your YouTube studio ready to publish at all times. And this way, if life gets in the way, something happens, you can still have content coming out on your channel, even though you're not there to create and publish that content. I see so many people that are scrambling to get from one video to the next, one video to the next. We're just scrambling to get that next video. When I started batch recording, I started just doing 2 videos. Now I'm up to about 4 or 5 videos at a time. But when I started batching, I started with 2. So we're going to create 2 videos at one time. For a channel that does 2 videos a week, that's 1 week's worth of videos that we did at one time. and then we recorded them in one sitting. And we actually changed outfits in between so that it didn't look like we recorded them in one sitting. And then we went and we edited both videos, and then we created the thumbnails for both videos. And we did that a couple of times. And then now we're up to, I was just recording a couple of days ago, and we recorded 4 videos. And some of those videos have already been published. Some of them I actually kind of got out of my publishing order and went ahead and published them because people were asking for them. But that's one of the things that we did. When you're doing a series, this is really great way to create a series. Like I did my entire series of how to set up and start a YouTube channel. That entire series was recorded at one time. I still haven't finished publishing the series yet. I've still got a couple more videos left in it, but we batch recorded the entire series in one day. And then we set up and started editing, and we edited them, got them uploaded, edited, got it uploaded, edited, got it uploaded. Now we're doing some batch edits. So we're editing and producing a video, and then we're editing and producing the next video, and then we're batch uploading. So we're doing it that way. And then we can go in and batch create our thumbnails in multiple shots. So I might sit down and I said, you know what, we're going to do thumbnails today. So I did this a couple of days ago. We did a whole bunch of thumbnails. So I took about 30 or 40 different posing pictures for my thumbnails. And then we uploaded them up and did our remove backgrounds and got things set up. And so now we can go in and kind of play with Camtasia Studio. One of the series we've got coming up is how to create thumbnails. And we've got some different stuff. You know, I have kind of shied away from doing thumbnail videos because, well, honestly, I know my thumbnails suck. But I'm going to go through some of the technical aspects of creating thumbnails, and I'm going to show some of the tricks that we're learning how to do in Canva to give you some special effects and make things stand out a little bit more and some of that kind of stuff. So we've got a whole series coming out on how to do that. I've done a couple of videos on Canva already, but we're going to add to that. So once you get that going, then everything that we're talking about is being done on a plan. We have a content calendar planned out for the next month and a half. And because of that, we already can refer people to the upcoming content. I can tell you what that upcoming content is going to be because we already have it scheduled. We already have it on the plan. Some of it's even already recorded. It just haven't been published yet. But some of it's still in production. We're still planning. We're still researching. We're still getting all of our ducks in a row. But we are also already working on it. I just dropped a video about an hour ago over on my other channel where we were talking about how to create a product. And it's actually one that was supposed to come a little bit later, but I actually have had people asking me questions about that particular topic. So I went ahead and published that video today. Again, it was one that we already had recorded. We had already recorded it and edited it. It was just sitting in my buffer. It was one of the ones that was sitting in the back of my YouTube. So I just went ahead and published it. So whenever you've already got it pre-done, it's really easy to publish videos that way. So the next thing, once you get your planning and you have your goals and you have your strategic objectives, the next thing is you want to create systems and processes for your workflow. And so let's just define what processes and systems. Processes are repeatable workflows that allow you to keep track of where you are in your work cycle. These are easy to outsource, and they can help bring in they're easy to bring in new people into your system. So in other words, as you hire people, you can hand them your processes and they should be able to just jump right into the workflow. And then specific processes are created for specific tasks. For example, you would have a process for researching your content. You're going to have a process for recording your content. You're going to have a process for editing your content. You'll have a process for publishing and promoting your content. Once you get those processes down, Then a system is going to be the system for putting all those processes together and in order. And it's going to help you to follow through and know exactly where you're at any given time in your process, in your system of creating your content. So you have an overall system that is full of processes. And this is great for creating a good workflow. This is great for helping you to get your systems going. It's going to help you if you onboard, if you want to hire people, you want to outsource some stuff. Once you have these systems and processes in place, it's easy to teach somebody else how to do it because you've already kind of got it lined out and documented. This is the process we go through every single time. I think you should process map them out and help get that workflow going. There's so many things you have to be able to do, so many hats you have to wear as a content creator. Think about it. As a video creator, you're the writer, you're the editor, you're the producer, the editor, the copyright editor, the writing editor. Then you produce it. You have to film. You have to be the lighting director. You have to be the cameraman. You have to be the actor. You have to be the director. You have to be the executive producer and the assistant producer and the gaffer. If you don't know, I have a friend of mine that was a gaffer. A gaffer, I found out, is the guy that moves the furniture and creates the set. I'm the gaffer. I'm the one that set up this whole set. It's not perfect, but hey, I did it all on my own. You're responsible for all of that stuff, and you have to learn all of those jobs when you're a content producer. No wonder so many people struggle to learn how to do this because you're one man. If you think about it, look at the news, just the local news. There's about 50 or 60 people involved in the production of that news show. I do a 30-minute to an hour long show every day or every week, and I'm one man doing all of those jobs. I have to have the same kind of production. So I've got to produce, I've got to edit, I've got to direct myself in what I'm going to do. I'm doing it all. So you have to have a strategic process in place so that you can do all of these different people's jobs and set yourself up to be able to outsource it. You want to bring other people on board as much as you can, as fast as you can. This is something that's going to help you to grow as a creator. It's something that's going to help you to get more people interested in what you're doing. But you need to have these systems and processes in place. And then the last one, this is the last point we wanted to make today, is analysis. Now, I just did a whole series. I kind of stopped in the middle of the series, mainly because they weren't performing well, on how to read YouTube analytics. Now, analytics is huge. I think you need to have, again, a scheduled time and a scheduled way. It should be done in a very controlled way. But reading your analytics is such an important part of building your YouTube channel. If you find some value in this, make sure you give us a thumbs up if you haven't already. We really appreciate that. It helps YouTube know that we're creating some value with the content we're putting out. But you've got to be able to analyze what's going on, and then you need to have to be, once you get that data, then you adapt. In other words, one of the things that we're looking at is what are the most popular videos on our channel. And so one of the things that we looked at with the other channel that's growing is our optimization content is some of the most popular content. Almost, I think when I did last looked at it, 8 out of the top 10 videos on my channel right now are in that optimization funnel that we've talked about in some of our other live streams. So we talked about our pillars of content. One of those pillars is how to optimize your channel in the optimization videos. So we're writing an ebook. How has this adapted our strategy? Well, instead of building a course on how to build your channel, I'm building a course on how to optimize your channel. So I'm already working on an ebook. In fact, I just dropped a video about that earlier today. We're going to take that video, we're going to turn it into a video course. We're going to take that video course and we're implementing that into our coaching. So we're promoting a lot of channel reviews, and our channel reviews is one of the things that we're promoting with our consulting services right now, because that's diving into the optimization, which is the most popular content on our channel. So all of that stuff is strategic. Now, if some of my other content were to blow up and be getting more popularity, and that content was to go down, we would shift our strategy. Again, we're looking at that every week. One of the things we talk about is we have our best of videos, which is our top 10 videos on the channel, which is one of our playlists that we put on every one of our channels. And the reason why is those are our top performing videos, and we put those right there at the top. So it's the first thing people see. And the way we set that up is we have those top 10 interlinking towards each other. So you watch the top one and it links to the next top one, and then it links to the next top one, so that people will go and we can funnel our traffic through those top 10 videos on our channel. The only time that we don't change those linkings to fit that structure is if it happens to be a middle of a series, because we specifically link our series together in a specific way. But being in that playlist, if they're playing it from the playlist, it's going to automatically play the next video in the playlist, not what's next in the series. This way we can funnel people where we want them to go. Every video, this is part of strategically planning. Are you funneling people in a specific direction through how you strategically place your links in your channel? Or are you just putting random links everywhere? Now, in other words, you have the card, you have the end screen, you can put a pinned comment with a link, you can put a link in your description. If you put all of those places linking to the exact same video, you're going to funnel people into that video. That's part of that strategic plan. And then you can go back and look at your analytics and see if people are clicking on those different videos and funneling into that next video. And it should be really easy to see as your channel grows. If you're small, you don't have any views or subscribers like this channel, then it's probably not going to be very evident. But as you grow and as you start getting ranking in search, you start getting ranking in recommended content, that's going to be more obvious in your analytics, and you're going to be able to see that you're funneling people where you want to go. So you have one video that takes off really well. Guess what? That's going to help other videos take off too, because you're funneling traffic to those specific videos. That's also going to send signals to YouTube that, hey, when people watch this video, they always watch this one. Wherever they clicked, they always watch this one next. So then when YouTube's showing that video, they're more likely to share that video recommended next to your video and similar videos to yours. It's not just your video that's going to affect. It's going to affect whether you get recommended next to other videos that are similar to that one. In other words, if you look at the search rankings on that video and the videos that are ranking next to it, that next video you're recommending people to may be showing up on those videos as well as recommended content. And if those other channels have 1 million subscribers and you're showing up in their recommended content, there's a good chance you can get a lot of traffic to your channel through that. That's why you want to go for those keywords where you're going to be sitting next to some of the biggest channels in your niche, and then you're funneling people so that that next piece of content could be showing up on their videos. That's where you want to look at, part of the strategic planning is, and your strategic objectives for specific videos to be, is this video strategically to rank in search or to rank in recommended content? Because they're actually different algorithms and they rank videos differently. And so the way you create the videos, the way you create the thumbnails, the way you create your titles is different to get in recommended than it is in search. Not much difference. There's still some similarities, but there's some different strategies that we use to accomplish both missions. So I recommend kind of doing a structure where you can try to get both. But sometimes you want to be more focused on one or the other. So that's something you need to know in your strategic objectives. Is this a search ranking video, or is this going to be a recommended content video? And which one is it going to perform better with? Because some video, I know some channels that they get 80 to 90% of their traffic, not through search, but through recommended content. But you have to build up a huge library of content to get showed up in that recommended content. And with my storage scavenger channel, we didn't start showing up in recommended traffic, honestly, until we got to about 70 or 80 videos. That's about where we started hitting the algorithm with recommended content. Now we got content that's regularly being recommended and next to some of the other big channels, and we've gotten a lot of traffic that way. So analyze your content, outline your content, and start strategically planning what you're doing on your YouTube channel. Take these ideas that we've shared today, start putting together a strategy, set your goals for your channel, start planning out your content, start looking at everything from the point of a viewer. This is part of your overall strategy for YouTube specifically, because the number one thing YouTube algorithm is looking for is viewer satisfaction. And if that's a key part of your strategic objectives, should be viewer satisfaction with every piece of content you put out. And if you can start focusing your strategic objectives, your goals, and everything that you're measuring and everything that you're doing towards satisfying the viewers, if that's one of your top strategic objectives, which since that's one of YouTube's top strategic objectives, it should be one of yours as a YouTuber. And if you're using other platforms, because we are multi-streaming this out, whatever platforms you're on, if you're on Facebook and you're trying to use Facebook traffic, then you need to have strategic objectives to attaining more traffic to your videos on YouTube or on Facebook. So you need to look at what's working to get videos recommended on Facebook, what works to get people seeing your content on Facebook, because there's a lot of differences between Facebook and YouTube and how they share content and how content goes viral, because you can go viral on YouTube or on Facebook just as easy as you can on YouTube. It's just how do you do that? I'm not an expert at YouTube, at Facebook. I'm just here figuring audio. Hello, Adrian. Thanks for joining me. So I don't know what it's going to be like on Facebook. I'm just now starting to understand Facebook videos, so I'm still learning how their search algorithm works, how their recommended stuff works, and how all their content works over there. We are working on trying to figure out how to get it showing up more there and less not just to the people on my page. But we'll be sharing more about how Facebook works as we learn it. So, but you need to get your strategic objectives. And one of the biggest strategic objectives you should have as a content creator is the satisfaction of the viewers coming to your content. So if you're thinking about viewer satisfaction between everything that you do, and you realize that 80% of the people viewing your content do not know who you are and have never been to your channel, then that's going to affect strategically how you create content. Because if you're creating content for people that have never heard of you, you're going to create content differently than if you're creating content that is for your existing subscriber base. You're going to talk to them differently. You're going to react to them differently. You're going to work with them differently. Switched over, didn't know you were going live. I scheduled it like 2 days ago. That's all right. I'm actually almost done. I've been on for almost an hour now. So, but I didn't expect too many people to show up because, new channel. We've been doing this one, but we've been talking about strategic planning. So go back and watch the replay. That's okay. Not a problem. I know. I'm all over the place too. I get you. So anyway, so start working on your strategic plans for your YouTube channel. Start working on planning out your content, trying to batch out what you can, setting goals for every video that you're putting out. And again, don't use those goals as an identity thing. Don't get so attached to your goals that your sense of identity, your sense of being a success or failure is attached to attaining those goals, but rather to look at data that tells you, okay, we didn't quite reach this goal, so we need to adjust this. And that's where your strategy has to be adaptable. Strategic planning is always adaptable to changes, to what's going on, to what's working, what's not working, to changes in the technology, uh, everything. And again, if you're setting your strategic objectives and you're setting your value proposition to be based on uh, creating better content instead of just being successful on YouTube? Or are you setting your strategic objectives to being something that is more general and more broad, but then you niche it down on your content? And that's going to be a huge thing, because niching down on the content is going to help you to reach a very specific group of people, but you keep that general topic, that general broad topic, and you're adaptable and malleable when things change. So that's going to make you able to shift. If YouTube came in next week and decided, you know what, we're no longer going to be a free platform, or they came in next week and said, you know what, we've been struggling to keep this thing afloat for years, and we're just can't afford to keep YouTube alive anymore, so we're going to shut it down. You're going to have to go somewhere else. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's possible. I mean, look at Periscope. 5 years ago, everybody had to be on Periscope. It's the hottest thing on the internet. Now, in a little over a month, it's going to be gone. It's going to disappear forever. And look at MySpace. About 15 years ago, MySpace was the hottest place on the internet for everyone to be. Now you don't even hear about it. It still exists, by the way. It's still there. It's just that nobody uses it. Not hardly. So you want to be adaptable so that when things change, you can move with the changes. You don't want to be so stuck on one platform, on one way of doing things, that you can't adapt and change. Otherwise, you're going to wind up like Toys R Us. You're going to wind up like Blockbuster. You're going to wind up like Kodak. So make sure that you're adaptable and that your ability to change, and you're able to shift as things move. So I hope that this has been helpful. Again, for those of you that came in late, make sure you catch the replay. We went through a lot of detail about strategic planning and how to start strategically planning out your content and start strategically planning your approach to YouTube. So hope that this has been fun. This has been exciting for me. We're going to be going into more depth and more detail in each one of these steps to strategic planning in future videos. So make sure y'all stay tuned. If you are new here and you made it this far, subscribe to the channel so you get all of our updates. We will see you next time, and y'all have a great day.